I am very excited because today I get to share one of my close friends with you. She is starting a new writing coaching business that I'm so excited about. It's called the Posh Writer. So we have London Alexandria here with us, who is the current contributing editor at XO Nicole. You know, we love XO Nicole, and former entertainment editor at Atlanta Black Star. So there's a reason she's a coach, y'all. She has experience. Okay. So welcome, London.
Thank you so much. Great intro.
How are you? Like, how's your Saturday going?
My Saturday is going fine. I've just been working, trying to get my business off the ground, getting ready to launch soon.
Yes, so exciting. So exciting. So for people who aren't as familiar with you, tell me a little bit about how you got into writing and your journey and what it took to become an editor.
Well, I attended the Clark Atlanta University,
Yes.
um, and I studied mass media there with a concentration in print journalism. So it sounds like basically I went to school for what I'm doing. However, when I was in school, I didn't see that for my life. Like I didn't know that I was going to still be in journalism. Like I saw myself doing other things. Like, I mean, I was all over the place, but but I didn't know that I was actually going to stick with journalism. But writing was always something that I loved to do ever since I was a little girl. And I would do different forms of writing, like writing poems, writing songs. And then when I got to college, I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was like, you know what? I like to write. Why don't I just major in journalism? And then next thing I know, I'm interning at different places and I'm freelancing. And I just 10 years later, I'm still in journalism. Um, but as far as like, you asked what was my first editor job?
Yeah.
Or how did I land it?
Yeah.
So that story is actually right place, right time, right people
Okay.
at
Okay.
the right time. So being a freelance writer, it was 2013 when I graduated. And so I was still trying to find paid jobs. And so I was working in retail. And then I just up and quit my retail job one day and I had hit up this guy I know who was interning at She Magazine. And I asked him if they were hiring. He said that he wasn't sure, but he was going to an event where the CEO at the time will be. So I said, okay, cool. Had no idea what type of event it was. I get there, it was some Chamber of Commerce event. I showed up in UGG boots and jeans. I felt so underdressed. And however, I had my resume at the time. This was like 2015.
Okay.
And, I made the connections. They invited me in for an interview. And that's how I became, at the time, I was the assistant managing editor. And then I became the managing editor. So it just kind of worked out that way. It doesn't work that way for most people, though.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. So it was just it was a different, unique scenario for me, but it worked out.
Do you have like an experience that maybe it's like your most memorable? Is there a certain interview or situation that really sticks out in your career that's positive?
Yeah, I I love to travel,
Okay.
and writing has actually afforded me the opportunity to travel to different places I've never been before. And while it's not consistent, I would like for it to be consistent, but every now and then I do get opportunities to go experience different places. So one of those experiences was the St. John Carnival in the Virgin Islands.
Mhm.
And so they invited media to go, the Department of Tourism there invited media to attend the carnival and cover it.
Wow.
And so that was such an amazing experience for me. One, because I've never been there before, and
Yeah.
I've never been to Carnival. Like I will always hear about it, but I would never been. And I got to experience this beautiful island. We toured the whole island. We did other things outside of, just the actual Carnival. But that was an amazing experience. I met some amazing people that I still keep in touch with till this day. And yeah, like that was definitely a highlight for sure.
Wow. And I feel like you remember back in the day when we would watch all the shows about, think about like Sex in the City, like Carrie being a writer, and you see it as this like very like glamorous job. And you hear stories like this where it's like, wow, you get to travel, you see people with celebrities, and it seems very lavish. It's like it can be a very glamorous and cool life. But as someone who works in the industry, I know that a lot of times a lot of creatives are struggling. Was that ever your reality? And can you tell me a little bit about that time?
Yes. So definitely when I first graduated from college, like I said, I was working retail.
Yeah.
I couldn't land a paid writing job anywhere. It's hard. And I think from a lot of, especially I guess the creative industry, graduating from school, right? You don't a lot of times have a job like right waiting on you when you
Right.
graduate. That doesn't happen a lot of times. But so that was with me, although I was like interning and then I was freelancing and still wasn't paid. So I had to find other opportunities. I had moved back home, so that was a little bit of a struggle. It's not how I saw everything to be, right? Um, and so that was like one of the times. And then also a second time, when I decided to move back to Atlanta,
Mhm.
I had quit my position at She Magazine, and I moved back to Atlanta, and I had some money saved up, so I
Mhm.
was living off of my savings, trying to find a writing position, an editor position somewhere. I was a sub at different schools,
Mhm.
and so that was definitely a struggle for me because that was my first time being on my own.
Yeah.
I had my own place and everything. And so I was trying to make it. And finally, after maybe a year, almost a year, things started to come together, but I was definitely struggling then too. So it's not always luxurious. I've had like, great moments, but
Mhm.
of course, but like anything, it's like ups and downs.
Yeah. And I know, of course, eventually you got your position at Atlanta Black Star. But when do you feel like things started to shift financially? Like, because even still, I know there's a moment where you're like, okay, I want to make more, I want to do more. I'm trying not to mix too much of our personal conversations with the interview, but I
Yeah.
know that was very much a reality for you. So when do you feel like things started to shift?
Honestly, during the pandemic, I began like freelancing, like uh doing some ghostwriting
Okay.
at the
Okay.
time. And so that helped me a lot financially, being able to do both of those things. And then like freelancing for PR company and whatnot. Because at the time, a lot of people, although I know a lot of people lost jobs and things like that, but there were also a lot of people who are hiring, and you hear a lot of different stories of people starting jobs or starting businesses during that time.
Right. Right.
Right. So yeah, that was pretty much when I started to see a shift, is during the pandemic.
Got it. And I know this may be a little bit of a layered question, but I'm curious, like, just your perspective. Why do you think that, like, struggling creative narrative exists? I mean, you don't really hear people talk about, like, I don't know, other industries, struggling social work or struggling, because, at the end of the day, it can be a quote unquote good, respected career, but you hear so much about, like, that struggling creative. Why do you think that is so many people's reality?
Man, honestly, I just think it has to do with the fact that um just the arts in itself is not as respected as other industries. Because even when you think about schools, when you think about programs that get cut, it's always the arts that
Mm.
always get cut first, because I think a lot of people, they just don't see it as a need, although we see it everywhere we go, like, TV and movies and music,
Yeah.
it's a part of our daily lives, but I don't know, I guess people don't, a lot of different industries or whatever, they don't see it as a need to want to pay the people in those industries what they're supposed to be paid, and they think you can do certain things for free and, like writing or photography and, stuff like that. And it's like, no, it takes time to actually do these things. These are real legit jobs and, work that goes behind those things. So
Yes, that's I agree. I think it's just honest perspective, which is interesting since like we know how much like pop culture and media moves everything, like and inspires people. But I mean, yeah, I think I agree with you. I agree with you. So now I will say, so it seems like things are going well during the pandemic. You're freelancing, you're an editor. A lot of people would feel like I can breathe. Like things are cool now, things are smooth. But then you kind of made this decision to start this whole new endeavor. So what was it that made you want to start the Posh Writer?
great question. Well, but really, a few things motivated me, but really, just being in the industry for as long as I have, I've just seen a lot. I've encountered a lot, and I know a lot of people who want to be in the industry or who are in the industry, but don't have they're missing like things that I think are important to get to
Yeah.
the next level.
Mhm.
And I'm the type of person I like to help,
Mhm.
and I want to help everybody. And this will be my way to do that versus having to pull everybody to the side and be like, hey, so this, hey, so that. Like, I have a business that just has it all. Like,
Yeah.
um, with the courses and the downloadable digital PDFs and the one-on-one coaching. I just want to help people who are in this industry. And like we talked about before, a lot of people, they don't get paid what they're worth. And I want to help people to do that. And I feel like, sometimes what I've encountered are just like things that I would consider simple mistakes
Mhm.
that somebody, if you were to pitch to somebody like a pitch or like a story and you have a grammatical error or something like that, you're going to be passed on because it's like, well, how are you trying to pitch a story when you can't write,
Yeah.
just like simple things where you may be able to write, but it may have been like a simple mistake. So just
Mhm.
helping people to pay a little bit more close attention to, their work so they won't let just little things keep them from making the money that they should.
Yes. No, I think that's so needed. I remember when you first told me about the idea, I was like, wow, I feel like so many people can benefit from this, for sure. Now obviously I know aspiring writers, it could be a big benefit for, but are there any other people that you would say something like this is ideal for?
Yeah, I think this can also be ideal for experienced writers, as well as maybe even publicists can benefit from it as well, because I know, like you and other publicists, they do both. They write and they do PR.
Yeah.
So I think, with experienced writers, maybe helping to brush up on skills, know like the latest things that's going on in the industry right now, what people are looking for,
Yeah.
what you need to have nowadays. So
Yes, no, that's very helpful. I hear from both sides. The PR side of me is like, you got to know how to write a pitch because people think that journalists want to be able to be like, okay, what's the story? Like, let's get to it. Why is it not crafted well? And then on the other hand, as a writer, sometimes when I get pitches, I'm like, wait, what is this about? Like, you just can't
mhm.
even connect. Who are we talking about? So I completely understand. That makes a lot of sense to me. But another thing I really, really like is just the financial aspect of it. Have you said like, because I've shared with you too, like I've struggled too. So all of us have, I feel like for the most part in this creative field. So the fact that you're saying like, here's how you made six figures as a writer, I think a lot of people are gonna like be attracted to that, myself included. Like, like, wow, how did that happen? So can you share? I know we got to get I know we got to subscribe, but can you just share one financial tip that you think would help creatives?
What I'm like showing people in my program is that there is more than one way to make money. I think a lot of times when you think about writing, most of the times when I tell people, if I don't tell people I'm a journalist, I'll say I'm a writer, and they're like, "Oh, do you write books?" Or people have like one. It's like they look at it as one dimensional, and No, like, although my program is more so geared towards journalists and publicists, but I'm also showing you like there's other ways to make money. So like I said, I did ghostwriting,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I think a lot of people don't know about that. Like, I was freelancing with different PR companies, like writing their press releases, alerts, like just different things that you can, make a quick $50 here, $200 there. Like,
Nice.
there's other ways outside of just blogging or writing articles. So
Yeah.
I guess a financial tip would be to just be open to exploring other options, like when you are in your field. Like you may do one thing, but find other ways that you can also use that same skill and diversify it and make money from it.
I like that. That's great advice. And what has been the best and worst thing so far about launching your business?
Uh, the worst thing is that I feel like there's always something else that I'm supposed to do after
Okay.
I feel like I finish
Yeah.
doing one thing. It's always something else. It's like, oh, well, you didn't do this. Oh, well, let me go back and add that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I have to pay to get this instead of I can't do the free version of this. Like I have to pay to use this so I can be able to send this amount of emails or whatever the case. And I'm like, fine, I guess I'll pay for that. Like, it's just it's like once I think I'm done with
Yeah.
something else adds up.
Yeah.
So that's been, I guess, the worst. The best part is getting to talk about it with people like you and just knowing that people are interested
Yeah.
and are wanting to help me
Mhm.
in the process. Like I feel like that's been a big eye opener for me because I'm always been, I don't know, I just been one of those type of people. I have an idea and I
Yeah.
just kind of do it myself. And then
Right.
I just tell people about it afterwards. Like I don't really
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't really tell people all the time when I am doing stuff. Like during the planning stages, I just kind of pop up like, hey, I did this,
Yeah. Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
And so this time, I had talks with you and our good friend obviously, and just open my eyes to realize, yeah, like I need to tell more people about this before launching it. And a lot of people have been sharing it, without me even having to ask and, giving me advice and
Yeah.
telling me about different things. So that's been fun.
Yes. No, I'm so happy for like professionally and personally. Like as a friend, I'm just excited for you. And I think it's gonna be great for you. And it's just so cool to see you step into this like chapter because I know the things you want. But then also like professionally, I'm just like, dang, that's a bomb idea. Like, because we know personally how many times like sometimes me and Linda have like separate conversations. We're like, dang, I like this story, but like you gotta
Like,
write. I
yeah,
can't realistically pass it along until it's written a certain way. So I also think it can like just help so many people, publicists and journalists and writers like I said, like obviously like myself, like there's just things like, yeah, that could help, grow your finances and everything. So I'm super excited for you. Congratulations.
you.
I think a lot of people who listen are like creatives or aspiring creatives. So I'm super excited to share this with them. So where can we get more information and subscribe?
So right now you can go to my Instagram at the Posh Writer. That's where I have the subscription link and as well as I will have my courses and everything coming up soon. I am launching on March the 20th. I'm not sure when this episode is going to up here, but okay,
Yeah.
so I'm launching March 20th, so that's when everything will be available. But right now, you can follow me on Instagram and you can subscribe by clicking the link in my Instagram bio.
Yay, so exciting. Congratulations, girl. We can't wait. Okay, make sure y'all subscribe, follow all the things. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
London.